Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a 2-round NFL mock draft. Today we're going to be doing, this video is going to be round 1, and then the next video will be round 2 with all the players that were not selected obviously in round 1. This draft is not going to be what I think each NFL team will do. This is what I would do if I was the GM, or what I think, this is what I would do. If I was the Tennessee Titans GM, just making each pick. If I'm the Tennessee Titans GM, it's either between Cam Ward or between Abdul Carter. Maybe roll with Will Levis one more year, and if he's horrible, next year's draft class has Arch Manning, Cade Klubnik from Clemson, Drew Aller potentially, and I think there's a better chance of hitting on a genuine top-tier quarterback, which leaves, I mean, if Cam Ward's here number 2, for me, I'm going to take Cam Ward. If I'm the Cleveland Browns, GM number 3, Giants. I think it's going to be Shedeur Sanders. Both the GM and the coach are on the hot seat. They have to get the franchise finally going in the right direction, and they have to get the franchise going in the right direction. Number 4, Patriots. This is between Travis Hunter and Will Campbell. We've seen how important a good offensive line is for a young developing quarterback. Obviously, the Texans don't seem to care about that at all. Honestly, I'd probably go Will Campbell here. I think he has insane potential upside, which leaves the Jaguars here. You're going to see how much I truly value offensive line. This is between Josh Simmons, who has the potential to be the best tackle or offensive lineman in this draft, or Travis Hunter. But if Travis Hunter falls here at 5, I think you just pull the trigger on it. You have so many needs all over this roster at corner, at receiver somewhat. Like, both those positions are like, yeah, they're okay. Number 6. Ashton Jennings, he is here at 6. I'm going to take him. Number 7, the Jets. This could be really anything. Tight end to help Justin Fields out, or receiver, even though I don't think that McMillan's the best receiver in this class. I think Luther Burden is. I think these 4, all the way down to Golden, will probably be the 4 receivers that go in the draft, not counting Travis Hunter in round 1. Matthew Golden has been mocked to number 12 to the Cowboys, which is crazy. I think he has good potential. But my number 1 in this draft is still Luther Burden. I think McMillan will probably slide down a little bit. I just don't see it potentially. Jets, you lose DJ Reed. I think Jahdae Barron could be a great fit for this Jets defense. I think the Jets still have a very good roster. It's between that or Mason Graham for me, which Mason Graham falls to me at 8. I'm going to take him. How did he fall that far? I guess it makes sense. Great pickup there to go next to, what is it? It's not Donald Brown. Derek Brown. Great defensive lineman for the Panthers who need help. Also, J.C. Horn, $25 million a year. Don't understand that. Also, don't understand Derek Stingley. Why would you go from $25 a year to $30 a year? Why not pay him $26 a year, $27? You just go up to $30. You're just screwing over every other team. Sauce Gardner is gonna get $35, I guess. Number 9, Saints. I think Tyler Warren here. You get off. Juwan Johnson, people say he's underrated. I think he's just the most average tight end you could probably ever imagine. Tyler Warren, I think the Saints usually go best player available. The Saints roster is so weird. It seems like they always sign players during free agency, like Justin Reed. They re-signed Tyrann Mathieu. They re-signed Chase Young. That defense is, still solid. They didn't really lose anyone during free agency, I don't think, except for Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Number 10, Bears here. They could go really a bunch of different options. I guess you go tackle because you have a bunch of guys who are in their mid-30s, not even mid either, early 30s, who could potentially retire or get hurt, and you want to make sure that line is as best as it could possibly be. I've also seen they have 2 picks later on, 39 and 41. There's so many different places you could go. You're just basically picking best player available. I really don't know. I'm going to go Mike Green. I think you get another edge rusher. I don't like Odayo Odingbo. I think he is, as a Colts fan, paying $16 million a year for him. That's crazy. Montez Sweat's very good. Grady Jarrett in the interior line. I believe they signed him, yeah. So just further bolstering up that defensive line. I think there'll probably be a decent running back available still at 39 of 41, I believe. They pick, 39 and 41. There'll be a guy there like a Caleb Johnson potentially. We'll see how things go in this draft. 49ers, I think you grab Malachi Starks, who can be a replacement for, I don't know how to say his name, Hufunga. Number 12, Cowboys. It's not going to be a receiver. It could be McMillan. could be McMillan. I still think they lost a lot for their defense. Well, Demarcus Lawrence. I think they lost. I don't think it was Jordan Lewis. They lost a corner or a safety to the Jaguars. I think they need help. I forgot. Zach Martin retired. I think Amon Mimbo could be a good guy to kind of just give Dak a little bit more time. This Cowboys roster is such in a weird spot because I feel like they do this every other year. They were really good. I think it was 2019, bad in 2020. They ended up drafting Micah Parsons. It's just such a weird, like, I don't understand the Cowboys. Number 13, Dolphins. What is this team going to look like next year? Who knows? I think you probably go defense. They lost Javon Holland. I still think Kendall Fuller's still there. They could go really anywhere with this. I don't think they go receiver. I think they'll go Will Johnson here. You still have Jalen Ramsey, but he's getting a little bit older, so is Kendall Fuller. You can just plug Will Johnson in. I think he's gonna be insane. I think he's gonna be an insanely good corner. This is someone they could definitely use. Number 14, Colts. If I am the GM, I'm taking Jahad Campbell. Linebacker is a big need in this team. I think we need a edge rusher, we need a linebacker, we need a tight end, and we need a quarterback. But I think we could probably, Jahad Campbell has so much potential, and he would just, oh my gosh, if he falls to us at 14, I'm pulling the trigger. I'm not gonna take Colston Loveland at 14, even though I think he could be good. Falcons, they need edge. James Pierce Jr. falls due to character issues, falls to 15, quote unquote falls. He can be absolutely insane. A ton of potential here. Cardinals, their offense, they could go defense, but I think if Luther Burden is here at 16, you pull the trigger on him. You have James Conner, Trey Benson. You also have Trey McBride, tight end. A little bit of a disappointing rookie year for Marvin Harrison Jr., even though he had 880 yards, 850. Bengals 17. Every pick in this draft has to be defense. There's literally no question. You take the player you think could be the best going forward, and I do not know how. I completely forgot about Jalen Walker. Where is he? If he falls to at 17 here, very high potential player. I think this is a no-brainer, kind of captain of your defense going forward. You have to pick defense up from here on out. You don't sign another receiver. Maybe offensive lineman. Number 18 here, Seahawks. I think this has to be Josh Simmons. I don't care what their GM says about how he doesn't value guard or tackle in round 1. Sam Darnold only will be good if, number 1, he has good weapons, number 2, he has a good line. I think he has an underrated receiving core. MVS, good outside, deep threat guy. JSN is going to be one of the best receivers. He's going to be top 5 next year probably. He's just an insane possession receiver. Cooper Kupp, getting older, kind of plays the same role as JSN, but, I'd take him. Number 19. I don't know where Nickerman Ward, did he fall down? I'm not going to pick him. I just don't see. He's 43 here. This team, I think they go Kenneth Grant here. I think they go defensive interior lineman. I think they still have Vita Vea. Not sure who else. Oh, they signed Hassan Reddick. They also re-signed Chris Godwin, it's like a $22 million per year. Would you rather have Chris Godwin for $22 million a year or T. Higgins for 28? I think Chris Godwin was 22. I think it was a 3-year, $66 million. Man, I would take Chris Godwin every day of the week over T. Higgins. Except for this year, he stays healthy. He's just an insane productive, receiver. Number 20. I think if Amarian Hampton is here, you still do need receiver. I think Evan Ingram's an elite pickup for them here. I love Evan Ingram in free agency. Amarian Hampton, very good running back. I think you're probably going to go receiver in round 2. And then, they got Dre Greenlaw, the safety from the 49ers. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I know his name. Their defense, which was already very, very good, just got better. Their offense got better. Evan Ingram. There's someone else they signed. I can't remember. I know they signed another player or two. I love the Broncos free agency. I also love the Minnesota Vikings free agency. I don't think there's a single position on the Minnesota Vikings roster that is a glaring hole. Number 21. I see this happening more and more. Do I think he falls to round 2? I do think he does. This pick would have usually been Emeka Egbuka, which I don't know where he is. He's 19 here. But I don't know. They signed Darius Slay. I think that offensive line is still really bad. I think you Kelvin Banks, a high potential player. I say high potential a lot. A high potential player here. Also, Cameron Williams, tackle. Where is he? Cameron Williams. I don't know where he is. Anyway, number 22, Chargers. You're gonna take a receiver here. I think Matthew Golden is the pick here. We have McMillan falling a lot. I think if somehow he falls to the Packers at 23, you have to get him. I don't love the receiving core. They've got a lot of great wide receiver 2 and 3s. If McMillan falls to at 23, I think you pull the trigger and you take him. 24. I absolutely, excuse me, absolutely love the Vikings roster. You can go literally any position, and they're doing great. Revamp their offensive line, revamp their defensive line. I guess you could say corner or secondary, even though they signed Isaiah Rodgers, re-signed Byron Murphy. I think Harrison Smith is coming back around. I think this would be a home run pick. I think this is just you're just picking best player available, and they don't pick again until the 5th round, I believe. I don't think they have a 2nd round pick. This would be a steal of a pick for them. An elite safety. Their whole roster just looks. If JJ McCarthy can play to the same level that Sam Darnold did, you're gonna be rocking and rolling. Number 25. I don't think there's an offensive lineman worth taking this high. Maybe Josh Connerly, maybe Gray Zabel. I believe Emeka Egbuka played with CJ Stroud at Ohio State. I think they played at least 1 year together. You still need offensive linemen really bad. Tank Dell probably won't play next year. Nico Collins is the 1. Christian Kirk's the 2. Emeka Egbuka could be the 3. I think they signed Braxton Berrios, but let's be real, he's not going to be probably getting that many snaps. Number 26. Rams. I think you go probably. I don't think they go secondary here. I'm trying to think. Their defensive line, very underrated. There's a lot of defensive linemen here. This is all defensive linemen. I think they will end up going for defensive linemen, as will the Ravens, and the Lions, and maybe the Commanders. This might just be a D lineman run. I'm trying to think of their interior and just go Izaraku here. Just go best player available. I know Jared Verse had an insane year. I'm trying to think who else is on the defensive line. I know they have a really good, young, underrated line. Ravens, I think you go Michael Williams, an insane potential player. And then Lions. This is another team that really doesn't have a ton of holes on their roster. Go Darius Alexander, interior line. I think they still have DJ Reader. I'm trying to think of the other guy. I think they lost the one player, Christian Darrisaw. I know he's from the Vikings. I don't know if it's offensive. It's a defensive lineman. I think they lost. Number 28, Commanders. Walter Nolan, I think, would be a good fit. I'm trying to think. They still have Deron Payne. I don't know if I think he's an edge rusher. I'm not sure. Just help on that defensive line. I know I'm kind of faltering right now. I'm sorry. Number 30, Bills. It's going to be Derek Hartman. Their interior defensive line isn't that good. You lose Von Miller. You pick up Joey Bosa, which I really like that. Number 31, Gray Zabel. You need help. Obviously, we saw in the Super Bowl. You really need help on that offensive line. Number 32, the Eagles. Colston and Loveland here still available. There's a lot of good players still available. I think they're going to go defense. I still don't understand the C.J. Gardner-Johnson trade at all. I think they go Colston Loveland's interesting here too. I'll probably end up pulling the trigger on Samara Stewart because you lose Bryce Huff. You lose, I think Brandon Graham retired yesterday. You lose just pieces all over that defensive line. I think Shamar Stewart's a high potential player. And that is going to do it for round 1. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in this next part.